You ever had a nightmare where you wake up and half the county's camped on your front lawn? Yeah, that was my Saturday, except I was wide awake, clutching my coffee and wondering how many strangers it'd take before the chickens filed a restraining order. I never liked fences much, always figured they did more dividing than protecting. But that was before Sunnyway Estates, before Karen Larkin, before the circus of HOA rulebooks landed right at my gate. Back when we first bought this 60-acre spread outside Newberry, South Carolina, it felt like a world apart, Boots' muddy kids wild. Ellie humming as she weeded the tomatoes. No one asked what color we painted our porch or if our wildflower patch looked unmanaged from the road. We raised chickens, then kids, then tomatoes, and never thought twice about letting the boys run barefoot in the rows. Life was honest, simple. That's what we loved until about 3 years back when the subdivision started popping up just down the gravel. You could smell the fresh asphalt and HOA bylaws before the paint even dried on their shutters. Live laugh lawn signs everywhere, street lamps, folks wearing matching pastel polos on a Tuesday. That's when Karen Larkin blew in blonde bob pearls at breakfast, clipboard tucked tighter than a Bible in church. First time I met her was at the farmer's market. She shook my hand like she was running for office. You must be Judson Campbell, all teeth and charity, asking if Sunnyway could partner with my farm. Pumpkin patches. Easter hunt, something about community initiatives. I smiled, said, "We're not part of Sunnyway, but thanks all the same." That didn't slow her down. She showed up with muffins, then with a brochure calling HOA integration a formality. I called it what it was, a buy-in. And I wasn't selling. She didn't like hearing no. Next time she leaned in close. Independent lots attract attention, strangers. Sometimes it feels less secure. Her words sugar-coated, but the tone said it all. We don't want your kind of freedom next door. I told her politely we were doing fine selling produce, donating eggs, letting the school kids come by every fall for pumpkins. She stuffed the brochure back in her purse. I suppose some folks just prefer to live outside the rules. After that, the muffins stopped, but the whispers started. Tom from the subdivision asked if I felt safe living next to an unregulated property. Julia down the road said the HOA was worried about our field looking wild. Wild, my pollinator patch. We brushed it off as paranoia. That was my mistake, thinking it'd stop at side comments. People like Karen, when you tell them no, they don't retreat, they get quiet and start plotting. It started with a text. I'm in the barn fixing the feed chute, and Caleb the mechanic from Whitmer texts BBQ tomorrow, still on, sounds epic. What BBQ? I text back. The one on Facebook, free food, live music, beer. Says it's at your farm. My stomach dropped out. I rushed to the house. Ellie's on the porch, 4 texts deep in, hey, can we bring kids? Do you have vegetarian hot dogs? I check my phone. Old friends, strangers. A BBQ pitmaster called Big Dave asking about smokers. Everybody referencing Farm Fest free entry, live band, kids games, all you can eat brisket. My farm's address in bold. I hadn't posted a thing. Ellie's looking at the flyer, bright green cartoon cows, all professional. Somebody paid for this. Then a call. Hey buddy, me and the boys are on the way. From Newberry, got enough dogs for the grill. I say, sir, I think you got the wrong. Nope. Check the address 3 times. I hung up. Heart pounding. It was everywhere. Facebook groups, parents' pages, college event boards. The posting account, judson.came. Events. 3 days old. No friends. I report it, but Facebook shrugs. That night, the sheriff's office calls 3 people already called dispatch, asking about traffic plans for the event. I say, there's no event. Someone's spreading fake info in my name. Deputy asks, you expecting a crowd? I didn't know how to answer. Didn't sleep a wink. By dawn, I'm sitting on the porch, coffee in one hand, Remington in the other. First headlights break the tree line, Honda Dodge Jeep. By 6:30, 40-plus vehicles are lining the county road, tailgating like it's college football. Canopies go up, kids with coolers and cornhole sets. I step out, jaw clenched, gate locked tight. Sleeveless guy pounds the latch. "Hey man, open up. We're early, ready to set up. There's no party. This is private land, you need to leave." He laughs. Sun hat lady chimes in. "But we brought potato salad." I raise my voice. "You're trespassing. Leave before I call law enforcement." Some folks get angry. "You baited us. This better not be a scam." Ellie yells, "Judd, that red truck just drove into the field." I turn, Ram 1500's tearing up the edge of my cover crop cowboy hat guy, waving like we're old friends. Suddenly, shouting erupts. I drove 3 hours for this. "Where's the beer tent?" Some kid tries climbing the fence. I yell, "Get down," but he slips, cracks his arm. Mom shrieking his name. I call the sheriff. Emergency. Unauthorized crowd. Kid injured trying to climb the fence. Crowd turns ugly. "You could get sued for this." Someone else, finally, thank God, says, "This doesn't feel right." More headlights. By 10:00 a.m., cars wrapped around the bend. Deputies arrive, but it's chaos. Panicked mom. Blood-soaked towel kids screaming. Some people leave, others get mouthy about First Amendment rights and community access. Like this was a courthouse, not my driveway. Deputy Calloway tries restoring order. I hand over my deed, my ID, show him the flyer. I never posted this. He believes me, but says someone went to a lot of trouble to make it official. Jason, my brother, arrives, sees the mess, whips out his laptop. This was no prank. This was coordinated. He traces the flyer, a Canva template, metadata scrubbed, but the email that set up the event page pings from a local ISP and right to the HOA management office, Sunnyway Estates. I'm staring at the screen. No way. Jason's face is all business way. He digs deeper, finds the same flyer posted from a burner account on Nextdoor, also tied to the HOA's IP. Then an anonymous IT contractor chimes in on Reddit. "Karen uses that Wi-Fi all the time, loves making flyers in the conference room." That's when my phone rings, unknown number. "Mr. Campbell, this is Dennis Hale, attorney for the Miller family. We're contacting you regarding the injury to Justin Miller on your property. I advise you to retain counsel." Click. Now I'm getting sued because someone trespassed after a fake invite. Jason's face turns to stone. They're going to spin this like you hosted a party and then locked them out. Negligence, unsafe conditions, the works. Ellie folds her arms. "So, we need to find out exactly who made it fake." Jason keeps digging, and 30 minutes later, bingo, evidence everywhere. Witnesses remember Karen in the office giggling about teaching the farmer a lesson. We turn it all over to the sheriff. But by afternoon, I get a formal notice intent to sue for reckless endangerment. Ellie shakes her head. "They want you to fold." I call my lawyer. He tells me, "Let's hit them first." We file a preemptive civil suit: defamation, harassment, emotional distress, property damage, fraud. News picks up the story. Faux festival ends in lawsuit. Who's to blame? I sit under the pecan tree watching my kids play, feeling like I'm living in a damn soap opera. Courtrooms, cold lemon cleaner and old wood. Karen walks in looking like a senator. Her lawyer tries denying everything. Anyone could have used the Wi-Fi, but then the twist: DA subpoenas the HOA's internal emails. Turns out Karen emailed a community engagement proposal with a draft flyer, same cartoon barn, 2 days before FarmFest went live. Witnesses saw her editing flyers, laughing about that farmer. Her face stays blank, but by lunch they ask for a recess. By 2 o'clock we have a deal, Karen confesses. She admits to making the fake page, distributing the flyer, and smearing my farm. The terms: 18 months probation, a public apology in 3 papers, $185,000 in damages, a restraining order, and a lifetime ban from any HOA board. Judge asks if I accept. I just nod. The miller's lawyer tries to stick me for negligence, but our defense is airtight. Posted signs, locked gates, immediate action. Judge sides with us, no liability. The HOA has to pay a symbolic settlement to the millers for organizational failure. I don't celebrate not right then. But when Ellie hugs me outside, Jason claps my back, I finally breathe again. It rained the next day. Not hard, just enough to turn the air sweet bead on the new gate motion sensors, intercom, keypad, the works. We're a satellite dish away from being a compound, Ellie jokes. The settlement money paid for security lawyers, even a legal defense fund we called Farm Guard. Turns out I'm not the only one farmers everywhere reach out. One had his goats nearly repossessed by an HOA president. Another got cited for rebellious sunflowers. The stories are wild. Karen resigned for personal reasons. The HOA almost dissolved, missed by a single vote. Her apology ran in all 3 papers. I take full responsibility and deeply regret the consequences. I pinned it up in the barn next to a headline calling us a fortress of Southern resilience. Ellie rolls her eyes, calls me a wannabe heavyweight champ. Best part, 2 months later, I finally hosted a real event, quiet, farm tour, chickens, compost, tomatoes, all proceeds to Farm Guard. Justin Miller's older sister came by. Tipped $20, asked if we still grew Carolina golds. Sure do, I said. Want to meet the chickens? She looked around. Honestly, this place is kind of peaceful. It was. Still is. So that's my story. When people ask what happened with the fake festival, the lawsuit, the wild crowd, I tell them don't mess with a farmer. We grow things. We fix things. And when you come for our land, we sure as hell don't back down. Now tell me, was I wrong to fight back? Or is there still a place for real justice out here beyond all those fences and rules? Drop a comment, share your thoughts, and if you've got your own story of standing your ground, I want to hear it. That's how we keep the soil good around here, one story at a time.